And our first story, traders who own shops at various markets in Kumasi have up to 2 weeks to move in or forfeit those occupancies. And City Mayor Osei Asibe says such tendencies were hampering efforts to rid the metropolis of unauthorized structures. He gave the order after 12 selected market centers on Thursday. Love FM's Kwesi Debra has more.
299 stores acquired by traders either remains empty or serve as restrooms for owners. A Jonasset market built 4 years ago has over 200 shops deserted, while their owners prefer to sell on the streets. Traders here are worried about low sales. They say it's gradually sinking their business. If all the traders come, we'll be happy to trade. And city authorities can start looking at establishing a lorry station here. Else you would bring the goods, but none will buy. At Patase, Adumanu, racecourse and Bantama fruit markets, the situation is worse, as indicated by city authorities.
This is for people to go. And if this message gets to the public will rush in their numbers. You have been here, so now you are witnesses. You can also be our advocates to let the public know that some people have taken shops and for 4 years they've not used it and they've moved onto the pavement. And now here our queen mothers are also crying foul that if we don't chase them from the street, they are also coming back. So should we wait for all those who are selling at the central market to also come to the street?
Bantama Hene Bafo Mankweti the Sif wouldn't take any excuses, insisting the measure will restore Kumasi to its glorious path.
So he is saying that the state that Kumasi finds itself now, if he really sits down, what is going to happen is that Kumasi is going to turn into a place that you can't control anymore. So because of that, he's taking this initiative. This is not about politicians. This is about Nanano. Nanano, we don't need votes to stay where we are. We are only saying that Kumasi belongs to us. And therefore, whatever that we have to do to make Kumasi what it used to be, we have to do it. And that is what we are doing.
Though most of the market centers are refurbished, the Fiasewa Kobe market, for instance, has challenges with amenities. Traders say it's making their stay there difficult.
We don't have throw here that bring people. So normally when we are coming, sometimes we both drop into this place, and when we are going to the same thing.
The clock is ticking for traders at unauthorized sites, but it won't be the first time. Whether it will be the last, only time will tell. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
And still in Kumasi, and thousands of applicants seeking to enlist into the Ghana Immigration Service were left stranded in long queues at the Kumasi Screening Center on Thursday. The limited space of the premises saw prospective recruits spend hours just to go through the whole process. Some of them who spoke to JoyNews shared their frustrations and also appealed to authorities to find ways to ease the pressure.
I came here around 5 o'clock and I noticed the applicants standing by the roadside with no officials and no safety measures put in place. It's a very bad attitude on the part of the organizers of this very program, because they should put safety measures in place, because there are cars running around every now and then and they can easily be run over by any vehicle. So I think that is a point they should take note of. Yeah. That is the formality for the immigration process as it is concerned, and you know there are little or no jobs in the country. So whenever people get to hear of a chance anywhere, they rush to the center to get employed. So that is the main reason why I'm also here, to get employed into the immigration.
In such a way that everybody will have a place to sit and relax. But here we are standing on the sun, there's no any, and everything is just complicated. You go here, they'll say go to this place, and we are just suffering. So you have to just be in the queue. If you are tired, you have to come out from the queue and come in. rest.
Next time, order should be put in place how people are going to move on the queue, and at least places where we can stand when we are going through the queue, because you can see all of us in the sun, and it's not fair.
In other news, for a significant number of mobile phone users, the device is mainly for making and just receiving phone calls, or even, let's say, WhatsApping messages and taking photos and watching videos. Well, for others, though, it is a working tool. In some parts of Ghana, the mobile handset is apparently becoming a helping hand, solving some of the biggest challenges facing farmers, such as post-harvest losses and what price could quote for their produce. Justice Beidou has been to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, to find out how this otherwise simple device is making a big difference in the lives of farmers.
Farming, sometimes a tedious job, but it remains the country's biggest employer, engaging more than half of its over 25 million people. One of the biggest challenges drawing it back, though, is the lack of transparency for prices of farm produce on the market. Middle-aged Douglas Ajay has been farming vegetables for over a decade now. Besides low market prices, the agriculture he and his colleagues engage in here is mainly rain-fed, making them vulnerable to the weather.
Middlemen decide and so cowboy.
Middle women always decide the price we sell our produce. That makes us lose all the money we invest because they cheat us. That is why many young people do not want to farm. This is a problem for us.
More than 26 million of these gadgets are currently in use in Ghana. Call it the mobile revolution that is transforming our lives 360 degrees. They are not just making communications easier. Now, they are also touching one of the most critical backbones of our economy, agriculture.
We know what start 399. We said demand now. Don't share weather forecasting.
Farmerline, this new tech company, is seeking to take advantage of this, using the mobile phone to reach more farmers with market prices and weather forecasts, all in their own dialect.
What we seek to do is that we provide this information for the farmer to give him that kind of knowledge. If the middlewoman comes, the farmer now knows the prevailing market prices of the various markets, and then this will empower him to negotiate for good prices. Farmers do want to apply fertilizer, they want to spray their produce, they want to even do planting, they want to dry their produce. And because they don't know the weather information or the weather updates, this affects them. So Farmerline, through the mobile phone, in their own local languages, we send the information to them about what the weather will be for a particular day or the next day. This helps the farmer to make preparation, when to apply the fertilizer, when to add and dry the produce, or even spray the farm.
Post-harvest losses caused in part by farmers not able to sell their produce alone account for the wastage of more than half of all food crops in Ghana. This new technology may be a game changer. Justice Beidou, JoyNews, Kumasi.
And for many in the tech and marketing world, Bozoma St. John is a juggernaut, having quickly risen to acclaim as the marketing executive for Pepsi, Apple Music, and now Uber. And not surprisingly, she easily filled up a 200-seat capacity auditorium here in Accra that cost each of the attendees 1,000 Ghana cedis for a chance just to interact with her at the fundraising branch. And she had a lot to share. from her current role at the ride-sharing app producing Beyonce for the Super Bowl halftime show, and her love for Ghana and Ghanaian culture. Well, she also called for women in business to be allowed to develop their own leadership skills and styles. Mohammed Mahama was there for Joy News at the top-level executive meetup that also had a light-hearted side.
St. John is a Ghanaian American who has risen to prominence working as a marketing expert for household names such as Apple Music and Pepsi. She's, however, always made it a point to showcase her roots as a Ghanaian and was responsible for putting the local track Yewo Krom by Atom on the international stage at the launch of one of Apple's products.
Good Ghanaian high life music. All right, guys, that's the all new Apple Music. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
And at Thursday's fundraising brunch, attended by some of Ghana's top business executives, she explained why she remains proud of her heritage.
Obviously, I'm Ghanaian. I have a biased interest in Africa, and I want to make sure that as the world moves, Africa moves. I think representation matters. You know, being a woman, first of all, in corporate America or Silicon Valley and being a senior seat is rare. Being a black woman at that is even rarer. And then being a Ghanaian black woman is the rarest. And so I want to represent us.
She also talked about some of her exploits, including working with American R&B songstress Beyonce, branching off from her study of medicine into focusing on the effect of popular culture on business, was one move Bozoma found difficult convincing her parents about. Having succeeded though, she says women should not be forced into the accepted leadership style, explaining perceptions of leadership need to change.
There have been ideals about what leaders should look like. So I want to challenge us. I want to get promises and head nods all around the room that as we are in leadership positions, I'm looking at the ladies, as we are in leadership positions, that we actually break that mold ourselves. And we need to stop telling young women who are coming behind us that they must do that in order to get successful. So first, we must embody it. And then we must encourage the younger women to also embody it. And so first and foremost, it's our responsibility.
She spoke about her role at Uber and the changes she's making, and threw back a question regarding how her company should be defined.
I think the definitions are really tough. Again, the beauty of innovation is that you're creating something new, a new space, a new way to describe something. I don't know that we have the definitions, because I don't think that Uber is done growing or done innovating. You know, because you could ask if Airbnb is a hotel company, you know, but that doesn't sound right, right? It doesn't. And so how would you describe any of these gig economy companies that are really creating new spaces for themselves?
Bozoma, whose father worked in the short-lived Hila Liman administration, also shared a story about her Ghanaian heritage, which demonstrated she hadn't lost her roots.
And as a young teenager, I would often, you know, invite friends over, and I would be invited to their houses. Well, when I go to their house, they'd serve pizza, or they'd, you know, make some pasta, or, you know, they'd have a casserole. And then when they would come to my house, my mom would be like, the
event was the inaugural Leadership Speaker Series organized by the Africa Leadership Initiative West Africa. For Joy News, Mohammed Mahama, Accra.
And away from all the issues of tech and marketing, Joy News is also learning that broad consultations are currently underway to appoint Ghana's first special prosecutor, expected to bring meaning to the Akufo-Addo-led government's pledge to tackle corruption head-on. Sources tell Joy News President Akufo-Addo has already met a few of the candidates, with the private legal practitioner Akoto Ampao a strong favorite to get the nod, although consultations were still ongoing on that front. Meanwhile, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia in the last couple of hours has been talking about the president announcing a name shortly, addressing the 86th annual convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Ghana at Kumasi in the central region on Thursday. He assured that special prosecutor would be a person of great integrity, who ultimately will run the rule over both past and present officials. He described corrupt politicians and public servants as unpatriotic and blamed them for the snail pace of development of Ghana.
If, as a public official, you're given responsibility to look after the public purse and you are only interested in stealing the people's money, that is the highest form of indiscipline, and it is the highest form of unpatriotism that you can find. And so we have to, as a nation, if we are going to make sure that the resources that God has given us are well utilized in the interest of our people, this issue of corruption must be stamped out. Just 2 days ago, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, the President signed 5 bills into law. These are the Office of the Special Prosecutor Bill, the Northern Development Authority Bill, the Coastal Development Authority Bill, the Middle Belt Development Authority Bill, and the Zongo Development Bill. The signing of the Special Prosecutor Bill into law is a significant step in the President's determination to fight corruption in the public life of our dear nation. Both past and present public officers will be under the microscope and held to account for their actions and inactions. This will help fight corruption and ensure the prudent use of resources for the benefit of all. The Special Prosecutors Act is going to be an instrument to help ensure discipline.
And the Office of the Special Prosecutor will be mandated by law to investigate acts of corruption involving public officers, politically exposed persons, and persons in the private sector involved in the commission of corruption. The office also has the power to prosecute persons engaged in acts of corruption on the authority of the Attorney General of Ghana.